guys, today in this video I'm going to be doing another Pretty Little Liars recap and reaction for you guys. You guys seem to really like these videos and you guys request them like crazy. So it just was the fatal finale last night, or whenever I actually get this video up. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and do a recap and reaction for you guys because the fatal finale definitely did not disappoint. I thought it was such a good episode. So with all that being said, let's just go ahead and jump into the episode. So this episode starts off and it says that it is Thanksgiving Day, and it shows Ezra, Arya, Hannah, and Emily, and they are standing outside of this house. And there is just all this crazy commotion going on. There's cops everywhere, reporters, and everybody just looks visibly really upset. Hannah is crying, and Arya is actually telling Ezra something about how there's so much blood and she doesn't know how somebody could survive that. So then all of a sudden the girls' phones go off and it is a text from A and it just says, "It is all your fault," and then the girls just have this look on their face like they're totally shocked and upset. And then it flashes to, it says it's like 3 days before or 2 days before, something like that. And it shows Allison in the police station, and she is actually getting set up to have a lie detector test done. And it shows her and then Mr. Sexy Detective Man. You guys always make fun of me because I can never remember his name. But Detective Holbrook, but I refer to him as Sexy Detective Man because the boy is fine. Anyway, he is sitting behind the little glass thing watching Allison, and she is just talking about the night that she originally disappeared, and she's talking about the night with all the girls in the barn. So then it flashes to Mona in her bedroom, and Mona's mom is coming in and telling her that she has some visitors who are there to see her. And when Mona goes downstairs, she sees that it is the rest of the girls, and they are there to talk to her about Allison, and they're basically there to ask for Mona's help because they want to know what the heck is going on at the police station, and they want to know what Allie is saying. And obviously Mona is the person to go to because Mona just freaking knows everything. She just finds everything out. She's insane and just knows absolutely everything, and the girls know that, so they're going to Mona for help. And then the girls leave, and it shows Mona having a conversation with Lucas. When she gets there, she's thinking that she's going to meet the whole rest of the army that she has already built against Allison. And when she gets there, the only person there is Lucas, and he tells her that Allison took over and just completely converted everybody to her side and has made everybody against Mona, and that everybody is calling her Crazy Mona again. And it flashes back to the school, and it shows all of the girls, and they're kind of having a little secret meeting with Mona inside the restroom. And Mona is basically telling the girls that she thinks that Allison is A, and she thinks that Allison going to the police station and taking this lie detector test is kind of her way of ending the game that she's been playing with them, because she feels like Allison is a sociopath and that Allison has absolutely no remorse for anybody's feelings or anything at all, and she's just cold and all she cares about is herself, and she just has no emotion whatsoever. And she feels like she's upset with the girls because the girls have stopped allowing her to play her game, and the girls are almost like her dolls, and if her dolls aren't willing to play the game, she has no game to play. So she has to take it into her own hands and stop the game herself by doing this lie detector test. And Mona tells the girls that she's going to help them, and she is going to figure out what Allison was saying when she was in the police station, and she's going to be on the girls' side now, and she's going to help them basically take down Allison. Then it goes into Spencer being back at her house, and all of a sudden Toby comes in, and Toby is wearing his sexy new cop uniform, and I just gotta say, I have never found Toby really that attractive, but when he walked in wearing that cop uniform, I was like, damn, Toby, you look good in uniform. That is all I got to say about that. It shows Lucas at the police station, and he is basically there to distract the cop and try to get the information to Mona so she is able to break into the police computers and get all this information about Allison. And Mona, of course, is amazing and is super genius at freaking everything, and she breaks into the police computer and gets the video of Allison doing her lie detector test. So she goes ahead and then takes that to the girls, and they all kind of sit down and just are sitting and watching this video of Allison. And in the video, Allison is just talking about the night that she disappeared and talking about all the girls being asleep in the barn, and then the guy interrogating her starts asking a lot of questions about Spencer. And he ends up bringing Spencer's amphetamine habit and her pill addiction, and he asks Allison if she knew about it and what happened with that. And Allison goes on to tell him that she saw her pills that night and she confronted her about it, and she promised that she wouldn't say anything. So the cop then goes and says something about how Allison was the leader of the group and how far she feels Spencer would be going to please her, and how far Spencer would be willing to go for Allison to keep her secret. And all of a sudden, Caleb walks in, and there was this whole other scene beforehand where like Emily was setting up Christmas decorations, which I didn't really feel like even touching on because it was such a boring scene. There was like absolutely nothing to talk about. But when that scene was going on, Caleb showed up and he was talking to Hannah, and Hannah got a call from Mona, and Caleb just knew that Hannah was lying to her about something. So obviously Hannah told Caleb that they are working with Mona and trying to figure out what is going on with Allison. And Mona decided that she wanted Caleb's help because obviously Caleb and Mona, they are like the dream team when it comes to technology and breaking into anything, so of course she's gonna get Caleb on her side because he's just a super genius like she is. Caleb says he was actually able to break into the computer system and find some information about an affidavit that the police have issued for something about Spencer. Basically it is just saying that the police think that Spencer is the one who killed Bethany Young, and she is basically the main person of interest in this murder. We actually found out in a previous episode that Melissa actually confessed to killing Bethany Young. She left that video for Spencer, and she said that she basically was there and she saw the confrontation that Spencer had with Allison, and then she sees this body on the ground. She assumed it was Allison, so of course, you know, you see a body lying on the ground and the first thing you think to do is obviously bury it, right? Because that's just what these people do on Pretty Little Liars. They find bodies and they bury them because they don't want nobody to find out anything. I have no idea. So obviously Spencer is not the one who killed Bethany Young, but that is what the cops are thinking, that Spencer is guilty of murder. So they come up with this plan that they are going to break into Radley, and Spencer and Mona decide to dress up in the little nurse outfits that Mona used to sneak out of Radley in. And then we've already seen in previous episodes that Aria has actually been volunteering at Radley, so Aria already has an in, and she's going to help Spencer and Mona break in. And then they just have Caleb and Hannah chilling in a little like sidecar, like super secret agent action. But while they're all doing this, Mr. Sexy Detective Holbrook, he shows up out of nowhere, and he just all of a sudden just corners Aria, and he just starts laying into her and just trying to get her to talk about this thing with Spencer and just laying into her with all these questions. While everybody is at Radley and they're trying to break in to get this information about Bethany, Emily has actually stayed behind and she is like distracting Allison to keep her away from the whole situation. So there's this scene with Allison and Emily in Emily's room, and it's just super awkward and there's so much tension because Emily obviously is really uncomfortable around Allison because they all think at this point that she is A, and they're just having this little talk about everything, and then all of a sudden Allison is just saying something about how she's cold or something, and Emily gets up to get her tea. Then literally in like 2 seconds, Allison jumps up and is in Emily's face holding her phone, and she's just like, oh, you have a text from Hannah, and apparently I'm A, and she kind of like pushes her out of the way and just storms out of her house. So while Allison is storming out of Emily's house, we see Paige pull up, and Paige is just kind of chilling, hiding in a bush, because people hide in bushes all the time on Pretty Little Liars. I've noticed this all the freaking time, people hiding in bushes, but Paige is hiding in a bush. And she actually sees Allison getting into a car with those two little weird chicks, I can't think of their names, Cindy and Mindy, something like that. She sees them getting into a car together, which makes absolutely no freaking sense, but whatever. She gets into a car with Cindy and Mindy, and they take off, and Paige follows them. So then it flashes back, and it shows that Mona and Spencer are in the file room, and they are getting all of this information on Bethany Young, and then all of a sudden Spencer just stops, and she's just like, oh my god, this says that Allison's mom had an affair with Bethany Young's father. And it's like, dun dun dun. Allison's mom, she be having affairs with a lot of people. Like, she got Spencer's dad, she got her own well, her husband obviously she didn't have an affair with, but now Bethany Young's father too, girl be getting around, that's all I gotta say about that. So they find out this information, and then they're realizing, like, holy crap, Detective Holbrook is here, we gotta get the heck out of here or he is going to arrest us and we are screwed. So they slip out the back, and this whole time Spencer is supposed to be at Toby's graduation from the police academy. So Spencer is on the phone with Toby, and they're having this really intense conversation, and Toby's like, where are you? I've been trying to get a hold of you. And then all of a sudden we see Toby gets into a car accident, and it's just like this flash of light, and then the phone cuts out and goes dead, and she's like, oh my god, Toby! And I literally was watching this and I was just like, oh my god, if Toby is the one that dies in this episode, I am going to be so freaking pissed. They can't kill Toby. Toby can't die. So then it flashes again, and it shows all of the girls at the coffee shop, and now it is present day, and it's at Thanksgiving, where it was at the beginning of the episode. And the girls are all in the coffee shop talking, and they're talking to Spencer about how she shouldn't feel bad and it's not her fault, and that we all know Toby's gonna be okay now. And then it kind of pans over to Toby in the corner, and he's sitting in a wheelchair and he has a broken leg. big. Toby's okay, he's not dead. Thank, praise, hallelujah. Okay, Toby isn't dead. So then all of a sudden, all of these cops come in and Detective Holbrook comes in and they arrest Spencer, and it's just this crazy scene with everybody screaming and Spencer being like, oh my god, I didn't do anything, and they're like, you're under arrest for the murder of Bethany Young, and she says like, I didn't do it, I'm innocent, and everybody's freaking out. The girls are like, oh my god, Spencer, we're gonna get you out, it's okay. And then it pans over to poor Toby sitting in his wheelchair with his broken leg, and his poor girlfriend is getting arrested, and he literally can't even move, so he can't do anything. Then it shows Mona back in her bedroom, and Mona is going through all of the stuff that they got together at Radley about Bethany Young, and it's like a light bulb goes on and she's like, oh my god, I get it. And she picks up the phone and calls Aria, and she calls Aria and she's just like, Aria, Allison knew Bethany, she lured Bethany to Rosewood, she knew about the affair, and she was planning to kill Bethany. And she's just like, I know that Allison is A, and now I have proof of it. And Aria hangs up the phone and she grabs Ezra and they just run out the front door. And this whole time that Mona is on the phone with Aria, we see somebody in a black hoodie breaking into her house, but this time instead of just seeing the black hoodie with the hood on, we saw the ends of somebody's blonde hair sticking out of the hood. So obviously they are trying to really convince us that A is Allison at this point. But this person ends up breaking into Mona's house, and then it shows Mona just standing in front of a mirror, and she's talking to herself and saying like, I beat you, Allison, I finally beat you. And then the figure slowly breaks into her bedroom and comes up behind her, and then it shows Mona turning around and seeing this person standing there and her just screaming bloody murder, and then it flashes to Ezra and Hannah, Emily, and Aria, and they're walking into Mona's house, and it's just covered with blood, and it's totally just ransacked and ravaged, and they're just like, oh my god, Mona, what the hell happened here? And then all of a sudden you just hear somebody scream bloody murder, and then it pans to the scene that we saw the episode start off with the girls standing outside of Mona's house, cops everywhere, just complete chaos, but everybody's standing there, they're all crazy upset, and then all you see in the background is Allison kind of chilling in the background, just like having her arms crossed like this, just watching it all happen, and she just is completely emotionless. There's no emotion on her face. She just is acting like none of this is fazing her, which is totally creepy and weird. Detective Holbrook gets up and he makes an announcement, and he says what happened in the house was a homicide, and they know it was a homicide by the amount of blood that was in the house, but as of right now the body is not being found and the body is missing, but that Mona Vanderwalt is dead. And then the episode ends with the person in the black hoodie with the blonde hair showing, and they're walking up to the nativity scene in Emily's yard, and they're placing a Mona doll in the nativity scene. And then it shows them opening up the trunk of their car, and inside the trunk is Mona's dead body. So now my theories for what I think is going on. Obviously they are trying to convince us right now, hardcore, that Allison is A. So I mean, with this show, we all know whenever they try to make somebody look that guilty, they are never really guilty. So I don't know if I'm buying this whole Allison is A theory. It would make perfect sense if Allison was A. Everything would be all tied up together with a nice little neat bow if Allison was A. So I just don't think that's actually what's going on here. It's just too easy. It just makes too much sense for her to be A. There's got to be some little twist, because that's what Pretty Little Liars does to us. So something I just was randomly thinking when I was watching the show, I was thinking back to one of the previous finales, the like Allison Tells All finale, and when Allison was telling her side of the story from her perspective and everything, and that's when we found out she was buried alive by her mother, and yada yada yada, I'm starting to wonder if maybe Allison flipped the script, and maybe everything that happened to Allison that night actually happened to Bethany instead. Like, maybe Allison is actually the one who came up behind Bethany and hit her with the rock, and Allison never actually got hit in the head with a rock, and she's just such a psycho, and she's such a psycho, like, sociopath that she made up this whole story to tell the girls when really she's the one that did it to Bethany. She hit Bethany upside the head with the rock. Bethany's body was there on the ground. Allison put her in her clothes so people would maybe think it was her. She took off, and then Melissa buried Bethany, and yada yada yada. And in my previous Pretty Little Liars videos, I know I talked about a theory about Ren being A. I don't know, I still am thinking Ren might be bad, because Homeboy was around for a long time. He had interactions with like all different characters, and then all of a sudden, poof, Homeboy gone, and he ain't in any of the episodes whatsoever. I mean, come on, that's just weird, right? So I would would love to hear what your guys' thoughts and theories are. That is honestly one of my favorite things about doing these Pretty Little Liars recaps, is interacting with you guys and hearing your theories on what you think is going on, because you guys, seriously, you come up with some of the best theories I have ever heard in the comments. So I really would like if you guys could keep doing that, and let me know what you thought of the finale, and let me know any new theories that you guys have from previous Pretty Little Liars recaps that I've done, and just go ahead and leave those in the comments below, because I would love to talk to you guys about the show. So if you guys did like this video and you want to see me do more Pretty Little Liars recaps in the future, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and let me know, and also make sure to subscribe to my channel if you aren't already subscribed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!